everyone, it's Jenny. I'm undertaking a big challenge for myself. Okay, he wanted to be held and now he doesn't. Okay, you can go down. Starting again. I'm taking on a big challenge for myself this weekend, and I'm going to be baking the menu from Legends Lattes. I've talked about this book a few times on my channel already. It's marketed appropriately so, I think, as a happily ever after your kind of D&D campaign, I think they're called. I've only played D&D once, so if I get the terms wrong, my bad. This story is about an orc called Viv, and she's done with her whole adventuring and quest lifestyle, and she decides to settle down in a village and open the village's first coffee shop. So she's really introducing the townspeople to the concept of coffee and lattes. She makes so many friends along the way who help her build this coffee shop from ground up. She has people helping her renovate and decorate, people helping her with like the business portion, and also she makes a really fun little like baker friend along the way. So I've tabbed up the different food places in the book. There are 3 menu items we need to bake. The first, everyone knows, it is a cinnamon roll. Then we go into this delicacy that they call thimblets, named after the baker who is called Thimble. Based on the way they describe him making this baked good with the first bake and then the cutting of the second bake, I'm going to assume that it is very similar to a biscotti. So I think he does oranges and currants. It's much easier for me to get my hands on dried cranberries, so we're going to swap that and do an orange and dried cranberry and walnut type of biscotti. This is my first time flavoring biscotti, so we'll see how it goes. And then the third one, which is the most intimidating for me, is the midnight crescents, otherwise known as your chocolat au pain, so chocolate croissants. I've never made croissants before, so that's going to be the brand new item in my roster that's probably going to stress me out in this video. However, I'm not going to talk through the whole video. I'm just going to roll some footage, some voiceovers, some peaceful music, and we can all just bake together and open this cafe. Let's get started. All right, so as we start baking, I'm just going to start reading from the book so we can enjoy this beautiful fantasy world together with these wonderful desserts. Carefully unfolding the cloth, Viv revealed a roll as big as her fist, almost too large to imagine eating. Soft bread wound in a spiral with dark sugar and cinnamon nestled between the rings, and a thick, creamy glaze frosted the top and drift down the sides. The scent was unbelievably amazing. Viv and Tandri shared a glance, and then Viv delicately tore a piece from the enormous roll, sniffed deeply, and popped it into her mouth. The ratkin sent to measuring and stirring and produced a thick, gluttonous dough to which he added chopped walnuts and currants. He then grated the skin of the oranges over the bowl. The cardamom, it turned out, were small, wizened-looking seeds. He diced them incredibly fine, crushed them with the flat of his knife blade, delicately scraped some of the dust into the dough, and set the remainder aside in a twist of waxed paper. Thimble kneaded and formed long, flat logs. He laid them out on 2 pans, sprinkled them with fistfuls of sugar, and popped them into the oven. Then he tidied things away, humming all the while in his delicate, tuneful way. The smell was promising, nutty and sweet and subtle. It put Viv in mind of winter solstice celebrations. When he eventually withdrew the flat loaves from the oven, she and Tandri loomed close, but he shooed them away. Slicing them, he arranged rows on pans and returned them to the oven. On the back table, gold crescents cooled in neat rows atop several racks. Thimble selected one and offered it to her. She took it with a nod. Flaky and yellow, the pastry's buttery layers folded over in gentle curves. The smell was gorgeous. She took a bite that almost melted in her mouth, at once rich with butter and impossibly light. Comparing these to a loaf of bread was like comparing silk to burlap. "This is incredible," she managed. Viv took another bigger bite and found the molten core of chocolate inside. The taste was nothing like she sampled yesterday. Sweeter, deeper, richer, creamy and decadent with a subtle spice. I struggled a bit with these croissants with the butter laminating and the layers, but it's a trust the process kind of thing. I promise at the end it'll be worth it. While she retrieved a bag of beans from the storeroom, she heard a rising, gentle hiss, and by the time she returned, the gauges along the front had begun to twitch. There was a clever grinding mechanism at one end, and she poured a measure of beans into yet another compartment. A loud, sharp hissing, a gurgle, and the machine thrummed as water surged through the silver pipework. After several seconds of increasing noise, a steady trickle of brown liquid poured into the mug below. The smell that rose from the mug was rich and warm and nutty and perfect. This was such a treat that honestly took quite a bit of effort, but it was so worth it. And I'm glad my family and I had a nice little cafe lunch together. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's a little different from my normal videos, but I love a good baking challenge and I hope you liked coming along. I'll see you all next time.